Hello, this is a so-called AI application sequence. Yeah, I try to use this sequence to introduce and discuss some AI real application project. So this sequence will cover practical and hands-on AI projects applications. So include the fuzzy inference system example, machine learning example, deep learning example. So this sequence just covered practical, hands-on, because we already have so many theoretical introduction in the website in YouTube. So what I want to do, I want to show reader more practical, real application, how to use AI to design, to develop, to build active AI application. So today I try to studying the first active AI application project. Like try to show you guys how to use AI to build flooding model. So as everybody know, flooding belong to a nature disaster, include forest fire, earthquake, hurricanes, tornadoes. We have so many disasters. So how to correctly and accurately predict, estimate the damage and when the flooding coming and what is the damage the flooding can make. So that is a big topic. That is the reason today I just try to use MATLAB apps. MATLAB provides so many maps. I just try to use one of them. We call it Deep Network Designer, DND app. I try to show you guys how to use that app to train, to test, validate flooding model. That is a real project. So to training to build any machine learning model, so we need a data source, or we call this a data set. Yeah, for today's purpose, yeah, I try to use the DND app to training, testing, validating a flooding model to predict when is the flooding can happen, what is the possible time, what is the flooding height, yeah, how big damage, what is the potential damage made by this flooding. So exactly this DND app belong to deep learning algorithm. What I want to do, I try to use the two modes because MATLAB provide two modes, app mode and the function mode. So unlike Python, Python only provide huge block of functions. So MATLAB provide both apps and function. So apps, they include so many friendly use graph user interface, GUI, so to enable user to quickly, easily build application. So in order to use DND apps, so MATLAB required you cannot directly use the data set as input. So you have to convert data set to so-called data stores. So we have to modify original data set into two sets. One is a training, one is a testing, and then convert both to the equivalent data stores. The data set we try to use for this project is called AGD dataset underscore M. M means we already modified original dataset. This dataset can be found from the website. Yeah, KD website, very easy. Exactly dataset, this dataset contains 3,000 flooding records with 5 columns, we call the 5 features: latitude, longitude, elevation, participate, and flood hide. Basically, the first two features, they contain the location the flood may be happen. The following two parameters or two features described elevation and rain amount. So that is the two big possible factors. The flood height is output. Yeah, how big flood, how deep the flood water can have. So that I mentioned for the training validation purpose, we modified original data set into two data set. One is DS, another one DT, dash DS dash DT. DS, that means training data source. DT, testing data source. So in order to convert two data set to two data store, yeah, I like to first convert two data set into the Microsoft Excel format. And then that's easy for us to further process. So totally 3,000, we use the top 1,500 as the training and bottom 1,500 as the validation data. So in order to make things simple, those two modified data set is already built and available. So if you like, you can go to a Springer FTP site. Yeah, you can go to the folder. Under that students data set folder, we have flood data set. Under that folder, you can find two modified data set. So in the following, we try to build a new MATLAB script file. We need to convert those two data sets into the two data store file. So this piece of the coding, very easy, simple, shown in figure 12.9. So first one, I defined the path. So path exactly is the location where this data set folder located. I gave you whole complete location. We call it a path. Top one, the data source as is a training. Second one is just a duplication for the first one. So we just call MATLAB function data store. The parameter argument include the path, file extension indicate Microsoft Excel, tab is a spreadsheet. And then by calling these two functions, we can convert to Microsoft Excel data set format into the two data store format. ds.read, dt.read, we just want to show, display, converted to data store contents in command window. So now we can run those MATLAB script file, and the running result exactly is converted to data store with all detailed contents. They show up in the MATLAB command window. So next one, we like to use the DND app combined with those two data store as input to training and testing our flooding model with a DL, deep learning algorithm. Now let's open the DND app by typing Deep Network Designer in the MATLAB command window. So when this DND app open, we have so many selections. So we can use the half-built network that is already trained. Yeah, we can retrain that network. But what I want to do, I want to create a new blank network. I don't want to train network. I want to build a new network and train that myself. So click plus sign. In the center of, we have a blank network icon. So we can open new web network designer. So to build this DND network, we can select different layer. As I mentioned, deep learning composed of different layers. So based on your application, you will do the sequence feature, image, audio, depends on application. You can select different layers. So in this application, we select a feature as an input layer. We use the fully connected layer, root layer. The output is regression, because basically this is a regression application. So we need to click, drag, and place different layer in the center. That's a design mode. One issue, you need to modify the output size, this property, for the fully connected layer. Default value is 10, but we only have one output. So you need to change output size from 10 to 1. For this application, we use a totally 5 layers. So input, we select a feature input layer. Output is a regression output layer. We have a 3 intermediate layer, LSTM, root, and the fully connected layer. Yeah, all layer you don't need touch parameter, keep default, with only one exception. Fully connected layer, you need to change output size property from 10 to 1, because we have only one output. So you need to build this 5 layer. You need to select each of them from the left-hand side, layer library, and place in the designer. We'll finish, make connection by clicking the end to the beginning, layer by layer. After finish the designing our network by adding 5 different layers, so next one we can perform training. So the first step to do the training, you need get predictor. That means you need get data. That's data represented by the 2 data store, training data store and validation or testing data store, as we did the last step. So to get that data store, click the data tab. We can open data wizard. And then you can click drop down arrow for the input data wizard shown in the figure 12.11 in this slide. And you can select DS as our training and DT as the testing or validation data. And then when everything ready, you click import button. So in that way, we can select both data store to input to our training network. After importing data store, so next one, we are ready to training this flooding model. So one option, we can modify the training parameter. So in this application, we only want to change max epoch, step to 5. So click the training tab and the training option icon will open that parameter and then change max epoch to 5. Click OK button. That's very easy, is that. So starting training, click the training green color button. So training result will be displayed on next slide. So when you finish the training, you can save the trained model to workspace or in a file. You can use do retraining or do something else in the future. So on this point, we finished training validation process. Let me take a look at training result. This is our training testing or validation result. So in the top, this part is for the training process, bottom, validation process. So you can see our training validation results are pretty good. Yeah, our training validation root mean square error only about 8%, exactly 0.079. That's a very good result. So for the training validation result displaying here, we can confirm our flood warning is good enough. Here we come to the end of this sequence. Yeah. But today I only show you guys a very simple example by using a DND app to build a flooding model with deep learning apps. And where I show you guys how to collect data as a data set, convert data set to the related data store, how to use the DND to import data, collect data, set, design 5-layer set that is a network, and perform training and save the training validation result. This example is only one small example in my published book titled AI Foundation and Application with MATLAB. They published by Springer Nature on this September. If you want to get more detail, click that link. Exactly in my book, we covered over 140 real AI application projects like this. So if you want to build, develop more real application projects, yeah, please take a look about the book. Thank you.